who's going to share his memories of the Big 13 and Pulse News. So get ready to call in and share your memories with us because the Tampa Native Show starts right now.
Otra vez. Come here. Let me say something. I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, those precious memories. A city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. I remember Tampa, and she remembers me. Yeah. She remembers me.
Welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Stay tuned now for the fastest 60 minutes in cable broadcast history. Live from the studios at TBCN, the home of the Tampa Native Show. Join your hosts, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella, as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, and Steve Canella.
She remembers me.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Tampa Native Show. You know, if it's Thursday night and it's 7 o'clock, and you're sitting in front of your TV watching Channel 30 on Verizon, Channel 950 on Bright House, it's got to be the Tampa Native Show. My name is Mario Nunez. I'm seated alongside my broadcast partners,
Sally Nunez,
a.k.a. the 15-Minute Girl. And right over there to her left,
Steve Canella,
a.k.a. Tampa Steve. And you know, tonight is going to be one of those very special nights. So before we get any further into this show, I want you to take 2 minutes out. I want you to pick up that phone right next to you there and call somebody you might know that grew up here in Tampa. First of all, tell them about the Tampa Native Show. Tell them how every week at 7 o'clock on Thursdays, we take an hour out of your time to take you down memory lane and make you think about and remember things that you hadn't thought about in a while. And tonight's going to be no exception. Tonight we have a special guest in studio, Mr. Mike Clark. And Mike joins a very distinct group of people that have joined us now more than once.
Yes.
the returning guest.
The late Mike Graham, who we just lost recently,
Yes,
was with
yes.
us twice.
Yeah.
Johnny Sinchet, I think, is the standard bearer there. He's been with us three
I
times.
think 3 times.
Yeah.
And Mark Barrow, of course, your hero Mark Barrow has been with us twice as well.
Yeah.
So, that being said, call a neighbor, call a friend, call a Tampa native, and let them know that tonight we're going to be talking about Big 13, those wonderful years at Channel 13 WTVT. Before we bring in Mike, we've got some business that we need to attend to. And like we like to say here in the TV business, we got to pay the bills. So
Keep the lights on.
what we're going to do, we got to keep the lights on, absolutely. First of all, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about an upcoming event this Saturday that yours truly is going to have the occasion to be the host and MC of. Well, this is the 3rd annual event, and it's called the Flavor of West Tampa. That camera, okay, pick it up. I got 2 cameras right next to each other. That is going to be this Saturday from 11 to 3 o'clock, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at McFarland Park. Now, anybody who's grown up here in Tampa knows exactly where McFarland Park is. There's that graphic on there. Sweet Bay is going to be honoring us this year by being our host sponsor, and that's going to be at McFarland Park. Again, that's this Saturday from 11 to 3. I'll be host and MC. We're going to have games. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be there with some fun and games for the kids.
Entertainment.
The Tampa Bay Rays are going to be there as well. They're going to have a little fun bounce around pitching exhibition for the kids. Frank Ray Studios dancers are going to be there. Lou Pinella is going to be one of our guest judges, thank you very much. We're going to have all kinds of vendors. In fact, I've got a list here that while that graphic is up, I'll go through and read real quick. Cacciatore and Sons, Castillo's Cafe and Catering, Del Rio, La Teresita Restaurant, Montaro's, just to name a few, Pinar Cafe, Santos Frozen Foods, of course, Sweet Bay is going to be there as well.
Holy Hog Barbecue.
Yep, there's going to be games and challenges and fun things to do. So if you've got the time on Saturday, all proceeds, wonderful event, all proceeds are going to go to the Judeo-Christian Clinic right there on MacDill. south of Tampa Bay, helps a lot of people that that otherwise wouldn't get medical attention when they need it. So please,
and of course,
join us this Saturday. The 15-minute girl will be there,
along with
Steve as well.
Exactly. We'll be there. Can't wait.
Also, Stevie, talk to us a little bit about that lady who we know, who taught at Hillsborough High School, who just had an 85th birthday.
Oh, that's interesting. Mrs. Cook. I know her.
And people might know Mrs. Cook how?
Well, mainly she was a high school teacher, but everyone's going to know her as the Gerber baby.
The Gerber baby,
Yes.
who just turned 85, Tampa's very own
Right.
Mrs. Cook. And to anybody that's out there watching, if you know how we might be able to get in touch with Mrs.
Please
Cook,
do.
we would love to bring her on the show and share her story with everybody. Lovely lady.
I think she was just on the Today Show.
She
She's
was
on
just
Facebook.
on the Today Show,
Yeah.
and we're just getting word from the lady in our booth at Hello Dory, who says she's on Facebook.
And by the way, hello, Dory and myself, both graduates of 1978 Hillsborough High School. Mrs. Cook was our English teacher.
Isn't that
Oh,
special?
nice.
So it would be kind of a neat reunion to get her here in studio, and especially to have two of
Absolutely.
her former students here.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. So that we have to look forward to. If anybody out there has a line on how we can get in touch with her, please do let us know. Also want to mention that joining our family of sponsors very soon will be Mimi's Cafe. Mimi's Cafe. Carolwood Mimi's Cafe. Look at that picture right there. If that doesn't scream holiday
Thanksgiving.
feast, nothing does.
I'm getting hungry.
Hey, I don't have any plans for Thanksgiving. I don't think the 15-minute girls are going to be cooking this year. I know where we're going to be having our holiday feast. That's going to be at Mimi's Cafe there on Northdale Mabry in Carolwood. So we've got a Thanksgiving feast to go, we've got a Christmas feast to go, and Mimi's Cafe will be joining our illustrious list of sponsors. Stevie, where can they find our sponsors?
Well, they can find the sponsors on our website, which is tampanativeshow.com. That's tampanativeshow.com. Click on Visit Our Sponsors, and you'll see all of them there. Now, we're going to put up Mimi's tonight after the show. So
Yeah, Mimi's will
Yep.
be there as well. So thank you, Mimi's, for stepping up and joining our ever-growing list of family sponsors.
yeah, welcome.
So now, at 6 minutes into the show, we want to get right to business because we've got so much to cover
Lots
tonight.
to
We
talk
got a lot of
about.
ground to cover.
Yep.
So if you want to bring us up in that four-shot, Mr. Technical Director, we'll introduce now to you our VIP guest, Mr. Mike Clark, all the way in from Los Angeles. Mike, how
Welcome.
you doing?
Welcome,
Welcome
Mike.
back.
Thrilled, and we have a tally light, so I know where the white is.
Exactly.
Yay!
And you know, those two cameras that were right there close to each other, I was picking up the wrong one looking at my one shot, but I hear in my ear, look to the left, Mario, look to the left.
You know, we never had this many cameras at Channel 13, so you should be very proud.
And if you did, they probably weren't spaced so close together.
That's true.
It can get a little confusing
Yeah.
without the lights.
They were a
but-
lot heavier, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're pleased, really pleased to have you back with us, Mike. You know, the last time you were here, and look, the red lights are already lighting up, so people want to talk to you, Mike. The last time we were here, we had 90 minutes with you, and 90 minutes wasn't enough to
No.
cover everything that we
Went
needed
right
to
by,
cover.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So what I would like to do is just remind our viewers and our fans that when you call in tonight, because we have a lot to cover, and Mike wants to be able to tell all of his stories, and we've got videos and we've got photographs, call in tonight, brief with your calls. If you have a question for Mike, lay it on us. If you have a favorite memory or something you want to share with us about Big 13, lay that on us too, and don't forget your Bolita drawing number. One more thing, and then I'm kind of going to ease the show into Mike's hands and let him go ahead and run with it. Also, we've got the computer here on the laptop here on the table with us. You can send in your Bolita number if
Yeah.
you can't get in on the phone. We've got a wonderful grab bag that we're going to be giving away this Saturday at the event at McFarland Park, but you've got to be present to win. So come see us. Bolita winner tonight, grab bag, something that the organizers of the West Tampa Flavor of West Tampa are putting together special for our show tonight.
Oh, nice.
So
That's going to be great.
Okay, so send in that Bolita number, and that's Stevie. Give them that address.
That address is show@tampanatives.com. That's show@tampanatives.com, and our production manager will probably be putting that up on the screen here pretty soon. Show@tampanatives.com. Send us your
There
Bolita
you
number.
go.
There it is.
Show
It's
at
very
Tampa Net.
quick.
You know, we've got
He's on the ball.
the best staff in the business. Okay,
We do.
And I don't know what kind of business that is, to be honest with you, but we've got the best staff. They're
Whatever
right
it
on
is,
the other side
we're
of
the
that
best.
glass, and of course we'll cut away to them after a little bit. But back to the business at hand, Channel 13. You know, anybody who grew up here in Tampa, it's safe to say, grew up watching the preeminent TV station of its time, which was Big 13. I know WFLA, I think, might predate. We talked about that earlier.
They predated by 3 months.
But we didn't give a
Wow,
damn about
that's not very
WFLA.
much.
WTVT was our default station.
Yeah. Well, I actually have quite an affection post working at Channel 13
Okay.
for Channel 8 because they were a formidable competitor.
Right.
But they also had Arch Deal.
Oh, yeah.
The great
they
Arch
also
Deal has been
have
with us on our show.
Uncle Bruce.
Yes.
And we'll be showing, the last time we were here, we did run out of time because we had so many enthusiastic callers and so much conversation, we were ducking left and right. But we were going to show a cut down of an Uncle Bruce adventure called Monster of the Amazon. And tonight we have it.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Good.
it's going to be on. I'm sorry I shouted there, Eric. I'll try and keep my voice.
Yeah, that modulates
excitement.
This is Gary Owens.
Tonight we're also going to show a Mary Ellen adventure that we didn't have time for last
Excellent.
time. We're going to talk more about Paul Reynolds, who was the terrific Channel 13 broadcaster, who not only played Shock Armstrong, but he also played Bozo the Clown, and he was in the sports department, and you saw him on the air hosting the wonderful commercials with Manuel Biro from
He did
Valencia
before
Guards.
Andy Hardy. He
Before
was, that's
Andy
right.
Hardy.
That's
Didn't know that.
So we'll be talking about him, and if that wasn't enough, sorry Eric,
And by gosh, it should have been.
we'll also be talking about WSUN's Captain Mac, because he was the first kid show host in the area, because WSUN got on the air 3 years before that, and that's going to tie into something you and I are going to discuss. So we've got a few things to cover tonight.
Wonderful.
Good, let's
Great.
get going.
Wonderful. Why don't we do this real quick? Because we're going
we're gonna take
yeah,
them.
let's take
Okay.
these 2 calls that are already flashing on us, and then we'll get right into those videos.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey Mario, how are you? This is Leo Alvarez from West Tampa.
This is Leo
Hi, Leo.
Alvarez from West Tampa. Say hello to Steve Canella and the 15-minute girl, Leo.
Hey Steve and Sally. The 15
Hey.
Leo.
And of
Hello.
course, our guest, Mike Clark. Leo, I understand you have
Welcome
something
in.
that you want to share with us here at the Tampa Native Show.
I do, Mario. I'm so glad you touched on the flavor of West Tampa this Saturday. Tremendous West Tampa event, a Tampa Campeño event, as we'll call it. We're inviting people from all over. Basically, you went over some of the specifics. I just want to add a few more things to it. And you did a great job, as a matter of fact,
Thank you.
in the event. And thank you for being our MC. We look forward to it. We have a tremendous MC with Mario being aboard, and Steve and Sally. We appreciate it. Hey, wanted to also mention we have the flamenco dancers from the Columbia restaurant there.
Very good.
We have cigars being hand-rolled, demonstrated hand-rolled the old-fashioned way by Darren Alvarez of West Tampa Cigars.
Wonderful.
And again, it's going to be a great festive day. I just wanted to quickly say, Mario, the main focus of the event is not only just a neighborhood get-together or get-together in West Tampa to celebrate our rich history and culture here in Tampa, but also to benefit the Judeo Christian Clinic. And just briefly, I'm just going to let you know a bit about it. It's at 4118 North McGill Avenue. We have anybody to go and take a tour of it. We're located just south of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but for your show's purposes, Buffalo Avenue.
Thank you.
The clinic was founded 40 years ago by Jim Holmes,
Okay.
which was a minister with the St. John Presbyterian Church. We offer free health care to low-income people. We have no insurance. We have more than 200 doctors, nurses, and other healthcare providers that volunteer at the clinic. We provide medical, dental, and vision care as well as free prescription drugs. And
Excellent.
the bottom line is proceeds will go to the clinic, which is in West Tampa, and we save and better thousands and thousands of lives here. So.
Thank you, Leo. Thank
Good.
you for that wonderful call. Consider that a PSA. That's your public service announcement of the week. And I couldn't have done it better myself if I'd have had the script in front of me, which I don't. Leo, we look forward to being there with you guys on Saturday. It's going to be, we're going to blow it out. And we're inviting Mike Clark, who's still going to be here on Saturday, because I understand he's not returning to LA until Tuesday. So Mike, be our VIP guest to come by. And did you mention, Leo, it's a free event?
It's a free event. You come, bring the family. It's free. It's going to be a great day. Weather's going to be great. It's going to be a super day.
We'll be there with you.
Nice.
Thank you, Leo. Thanks so
Thanks
much for
for
that
calling,
call.
Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Do you have a Bolita number you'd like to leave with us? No, you can't win because you're part of the organization. So, all right, Leo, we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. One more quick call, and we're going to turn the show over to Michael. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good evening. This is Hugh from South Tampa.
Hi, Hugh. Do
Hugh.
you have a question for Mike Clark?
I do. This personality used to say he's a great guy, and he used to wonder where am I, and things of that nature. Do you remember who he was?
I think everybody remembers the wonderful Salty Saul Flashman.
Where am I?
Yes.
Salty Saul.
Yeah.
What are your memories of Salty Saul and your association?
The thing about Saul, who had a long career in radio before he got on television in Tampa, is that he was the life of the party, and the camera captured everything that he was. When he came into the studio before the show was on, he was a carnival, a party, yelling jokes and just slapping everybody on the back and having a wonderful time. And when he got on the air, he was the same fella. And that's why Channel 13 personalities, I think, are so authentic because they really don't have an off-camera side. They're kind of like they were on camera and off camera. Same with Mary Ellen, our kids show host. She was as warm and as comfortable as somebody in the living room with you when you're watching on television. But if you met her in person, you discover that she's the same individual. So that was the wonderful thing. And Saul always he showed film to the viewers and said, "Where am I?" And you had to guess where he shot that film. And if you guessed correctly, you won a Zebco rod and reel.
Oh,
yeah.
I had one of those.
What a joy it must have been to have been working in television in those early years when you had to have a fair amount of guile and a big old amount of talent to be able to pull it off, because a lot of that stuff was live and those people were pioneers, man. Test pilots, a lot of them. So Hugh, give us your Bolita number.
I'll take number 29 today.
You always do.
29.
Thank you, Hugh. We appreciate you. Good
Thank
luck, and we'll see
you.
you Saturday if you win.
I really enjoyed those days at Big 13. I mean, that's what I grew up watching. So
Stick around.
We
You're not
did
going to bring up
too.
some of the
Yeah.
stuff we're going to show you tonight.
More to come.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hugh.
All right.
So first of all, I wanted to welcome viewers who are not only in Tampa, but we've got people who are watching that are former Channel 13 employees. I got confirmation in New York, Austin, Texas, Hollywood, California.
That is so
Wow,
cool.
that's very
Yes,
nice.
and up somewhere in Pasco County. That'd be Ray Blush, who was the
Oh,
former-
Ray's watching
Ray
tonight.
Blush.
Ray's watching
Oh,
tonight.
maybe Ray could call in and,
That's awesome.
and
How
razz
awesome.
you a little bit if he's out
Yeah.
there watching.
He's the wonderful
We all
producer
remember
and
Ray.
host of Project 13, the wonderful
yes,
documentary
of
series.
course.
Yes.
He was a former news director and anchor, and one of the finest broadcasters I've ever met. So
Ray, thanks for looking in on
Yeah,
us tonight at
thank you.
our humble little show here called the Tampa Native Show.
We're honored to have you.
Absolutely. We had the also the privilege and the honor of having Mr. Roy Leap call us. We did a show during first week of the start of hurricane season.
Yeah.
We dedicated it all to, tropical events that affected us all growing up here in Tampa, and Roy gave us a call. So-
I watched that show, and I thought that was one of the most effective shows I've ever seen, and I congratulate you
Thank
on
you
that.
so much. That was
And
a lot of fun. What an honor.
should we go ahead and do our little surprise for Roy tonight?
One, two.
I don't know, Eric. You got a picture to back us up on this? Tomorrow, November the 9th, is a very important birthday for our weatherman, Mr. Roy Leap, who is the top weathercaster in the country. As you can see there, it's his happy birthday. And Mario, do you know how old he is?
I'm going to guess.
I'm afraid to guess. Let's see.
I'm thinking.
Don't go over.
No, I won't go over. I don't want to go over because Roy.
Closest to without going over.
Without
Yeah.
going over. I'm going to say he's close to my pop's age, maybe 85.
A little north. You're a little north.
Well, I'm a little north.
Yes.
Okay, then 80. Then 80.
You're right.
Okay, I'll stay.
That's what I
I'll
was
stay
going to
80.
say.
Roy
yeah.
is 80 years young.
Wow.
And
He's still working.
You know,
He's doing consulting work the last
Yes.
time he told us.
Yes, and he also, if you're lucky to live enough in the village where he is, you can
Right.
get your own weather reports from Roy Lee.
How great.
Can you believe that?
Let's
Yeah.
sign up for that. Let's see if
Right.
we can't get all of our Tampa Native show
And
fans to sign
he
up. for
sounds
that.
just like he did. when
Yeah.
He
was
really
doing
did.
the-
His
yeah,
voice is very
identical.
strong and very youthful.
Yes.
That's the one thing we noticed about when he called us. It was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, he
Yeah.
called.
It was like
Shall
it
we
was a
say it all
flashback.
at the same time?
Happy
birthday,
Roy!
Roy.
We love you, and if you're out there watching, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you
Please.
as well.
Yes, we would.
It would be terrific if we could wish you a happy birthday on the air tonight. Thanks so much for sharing.
Oh boy, I love talking about Roy. And one of the things I'd like to start off with, if I could.
Sure, please.
Things that we forgot to mention or we got lost in the shuffle last time because there was so much excitement going on. One thing I wanted to mention about the big13.com site is that every topic that we discussed tonight is covered on the site. Every story that we discuss, Captain Mac, Uncle Bruce, we've got it all on the big13.com website. And so there's nothing about Tampa Bay television that isn't on that site. So please visit there. And of course, a little pitch, we're always looking for memorabilia. If you have any Channel 13 memorabilia that's special, or WFLA or WSUN, please contact me. There's a link right on the homepage of the website for you to make that contact.
And speaking of memorabilia, here's something that one of our fans, a gentleman by the name of Jaime Hooper, who lives in Palmacia, we never know where in the world he's calling from. Last week he called from the road somewhere, ended up winning the Bolita drawing, or he didn't win the Bolita drawing. He
No,
got
he
out
did
because
not.
That's right.
his
That's
number
right.
58 got snuck in there by Charlotte Palmer.
He missed
from
it by
River-
that
Yeah,
much.
exactly. But Jaime Hooper offered us this little wonderful, it's called a mic flag. I bet you didn't know that.
No,
We
I didn't.
started, I didn't either.
No.
And
It looks
that's
really
the-
nice on that
it's the
little
original
lamp.
That's the
Mike
logo. In fact, Mr. Eric, would you mind putting up
Sure.
the graphic number 1 because we'll just quickly cover
talk about those
cover the
logos real
graphics.
quick. There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
just very quickly. That logo,
Look at
yeah,
that.
there we are, and
There it is.
you can see there. You can put us in there too if you like. We got a little room for us. That 13 logo on the upper left is from 1960.
1960.
The one that's in color is from 1966, designed
Mm-hmm.
by Ken Smith in the art department. That's our bicentennial logo. That's
Yes,
1976.
1976.
I remember 1975 we actually started because that was the start
The
for
whole
us
year.
of the bicentennial year.
Celebration, sure.
And then that 13 took over once the bicentennial finished, and that's what's on your microphone here in the studio.
Nice,
Yeah,
look
there
at
we go.
that.
See, we fit in right below
Isn't
that.
that
see?
perfect?
Perfect.
And the graphic against the black tablecloth.
It looks
Listen,
good. It
does
don't,
look good.
don't kid yourself. For those of you watching this little humble little show from public access TV in Tampa, Florida, there's a lot of production value here.
Yes.
That's right.
And the fellow that's just joining us this week has brought a whole mess of
Yeah.
it with him.
That's right.
Want to show a video?
Well, actually, first I want to talk about a couple other things I forgot
Sure.
to mention. On the WTVT website, big13.com, we have a whole section dedicated to the visit of John F. Kennedy, who arrived here on November 18th, 1963 for a visit. And that is all covered on the Big 13 site because Channel 13 and Channel 8 shared coverage of that event. And our own writer, Tony Zapponi, a fellow you very well know,
Yes,
who's
we
Mr.
do.
Tampa History.
Yes, he
Yes.
is.
Who was only, I believe, 14 years old at the
Yeah,
time. And
it's
in fact,
amazing.
Eric, I think we have a graphic for that, number 2. He was only 14 years old at the time, and he followed John F. Kennedy around that entire day with his camera. As you can see, these are all photographs shot by Tony Zapponi.
Incredible, huh?
When he was 14. Nobody else got this kind of coverage. And the Tampa Tribune used his photographs. They use it in the anniversaries. And we all cover this on the Big 13 site, along with some reminiscence from Crawford Rice, who was a former WTVT general manager, who was in Dallas that day
Wow.
and had breakfast along with all the other people with Mr. Kennedy, which actually was in, it wasn't in Dallas they had the breakfast, it was in Hoop?
Was
In
Fort Worth?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
and
Yeah.
He was at the
Right.
Fort Worth breakfast,
Yeah.
and he was with KTVT, which was
I
the
remember-
sister
we
station
remember that.
in that area, and they loaned their mobile unit to help cover the post-assassination story.
Yeah.
All these fascinating stories, plus Tony's pictures, are in there, and I'm very proud to announce that Tony is working right now on a documentary about that event
Oh, great.
with WEDU.
Oh, that's amazing.
Fascinating.
And
fabulous.
that will air a year
Congratulations,
from
Tony.
now on the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's
We also have
assassination.
the opportunity,
great.
spoiler alert. Thank you for the wonderful segue, Mike. And we didn't talk about this earlier, but I've also reached out to our hero, Mark Biro, who is also a bit of a self-proclaimed
Kennedy, yeah.
Kennedy assassination expert. He's done spent a lot of time. There's 3 of them here. There's Tony Zapponi, there's Mark Biro, and E.J. Salcinas, who have done a lot of research and just fancy themselves to be students of the assassination and everything that led up to it. He's going to be on the show, and we're going to be talking about it right around the anniversary of that fateful day.
The
in
general
history.
conventional wisdom is that there could have been an incident in Tampa.
Right.
All these same elements were in place, the
Right.
same car, the same running boards on the car.
Yeah.
And one of
Yeah.
the interesting things about that day is that the motorcade went right down what was then Grand Central Avenue, right in front of Channel 13, and so they covered that right from the studio. And there's a wonderful photograph on the Big 13 website taken right in front of Tommy Urey's photo studio, which was right next to 13. That perfectly shows President Kennedy and Representative Sam Gibbons, who just passed
Just
away
passed, just
and,
lost
was,
him.
and was a
Great
wonderful
man.
friend of
Amazing man.
friend
Yeah.
of Tony Zapponi's. Shows that picture of them. It caught that instant, a once-in-a-lifetime shot, and that's on the Big 13 site too.
Yes. Amazing.
It begs
photo.
the question, and we're going to go to our
Proud
calls
of you,
real quick.
Tony.
It begs the question, and I may have mentioned this the last time we were here. If not, I'll bring it up now. What do you do if you're 14 years of age and you snap that picture that ends up being a historic picture? Where do you go from there? At 14, man, it's got to be all downhill. I mean, you know, a lot of times professional photographers, their whole careers, to get those kinds
Yeah.
of moments
Right.
in time, and
Yeah.
Tony got it at 14.
Yeah.
Wow,
And-
Tony, we're so proud of you.
And Tony never stopped. He's been recording in his brain everything, and
Yep.
that's why he's been such a valuable asset to the Big 13 website too.
Amazing,
So,
amazing
you know.
person.
And
We'll have Tony back on the show.
well,
Tony's been on with us before.
he promised not to call in tonight, so we would have the time to talk.
Oh, I bet he's going to call in. Let's see who's on. Is it line 4? Let's see who's on line 4. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Mario, Steve, Sally, this is David calling.
Hey, David.
Hey,
Hey,
David, how
David.
are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
You got a question or a comment or a cheer or a jeer for Mr. Mike Clark? He's here. He's going to answer your question.
Actually, my father's had an ad agency, and he did a lot of work with Channel 13 back in the
back in the early days at Benito Advertising.
Benito Advertising.
Louis Benito.
This is Louis's son.
Yes, sir. And, but I always remember growing up watching Roy, Andy Hardy Sports Report.
Andy Hardy Sports Report was amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the local advertisements were done by Paul Reynolds, who played Chuck Armstrong, and the announcing staff. They were all busy doing these live commercials right there in the studio. You know, a lot of mistakes can happen, but they got through them all. And those stories about the staff announcers, like Ed Rowley, who played 3D Danny, his story, he's a staff announcer, and he was on 3D Danny as the lead character. That story is on the website, too.
Thank you, David. Can we have your Bolita number?
Yes, 44.
44 it is. Thank you, my
Nice.
brother. We'll see you Saturday. Stop by that West Tampa, Flavor of West Tampa. We'll look forward to seeing you then.
I certainly will. All right, Mario, nice to talk to you.
Thank you,
Bye,
brother.
Bye.
A lot of those guys
Okay.
back then used to do double duty like you were talking about.
Absolutely, and that's when they have live booth announcers. We'll keep moving along here.
Sure.
When I was here last time, Mario told the story of how his parents brought a TV set with them from New York
Remember that?
down to here in 1952, but he said they couldn't use it till 1955. And it occurred to me later that the reason they couldn't use it is because it didn't have a UHF adapter on it. Because at the time, the only station on the air was Channel 38, first UHF station in the area,
right.
Yeah.
and that's why that TV set sat there for so long.
That's right.
They couldn't see Channel 38.
And do you
That's very
remember
interesting.
growing up whenever we
I do.
you bought the black and white TV, you always had the rabbit ears.
The
Yeah.
two
And then you
screws.
had that little round, yeah,
Right.
the two, what are you doing with this, Mom? What are you doing? That was your UHF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you didn't tune that thing in just right, you couldn't pick up 44 or
Exactly.
38.
Yeah, Channel 10 was always an issue with reception in the
Always
early
an
days.
issue because they were the interlopers we
Yeah.
talked about. They were across the bay.
Okay, we're moving along to Captain
along.
Mac. You ready
Captain
for
Mac.
Captain Mac, everybody?
Let's do a little Captain Mac show.
Yeah. Now, we have tonight what is the only surviving piece of film of Captain Mac so far. And it comes courtesy of Bob Gilbert, who was a director at Channel 38 in the early days. He directed Captain Mac when the station went on the air.
Wow.
He later went to Channel 8 and Channel 13. But this is 30 seconds of Captain Mac doing a promo for his show. It's a little overexposed, a little grainy. This is the only film you're ever going to see of him.
So rare.
Enjoy Captain Mac.
Hi, I'm Captain Mack, and I'd like to welcome you to the Captain Mack Show, Monday through Friday from 6, not yet, Mr. Babel, not yet. Monday through Friday from 6 to 6:30. We have an exciting serial every night, and we have a cartoon, and we spin the wheel every night, and some lucky boy or girl in our studio audience wins, not yet, Mr. Babel, wins a very exciting toy from the Lancaster Toy Shop. All in all, it's a lot of fun with the film, the birthday list, the lucky seat number, and then, of course, every night, Monday through.
There's an exclusive for you from the Tampa Native Show, Captain Mac. I would estimate that that was shot sometime in the late 50s, and it's grainy because it's a kinescope, which is a film camera aimed at a monitor. And one of the most frequent questions I get asked is, I was on the Mary Ellen Show in 1964. Is there any film or tape on that? And unfortunately, I'm sorry to say the answer is always no, because those shows went out live. And when they did record a show like High Q, which was our weekly game
Yeah.
show with high school
I remember
students,
that.
they would record over the shows the next time they had to tape, because tape was very expensive back then. So there's very little tape of those days. I'm sorry to tell you. So that's unfortunate.
But that was a treasure.
Yeah.
That was a treasure.
Yeah.
And again, an exclusive you'll only see here.
Yeah, and
the Tampa Native Show.
exclusive. I'm sorry, Mario. I didn't mean to talk
No,
over
you're
you.
fine.
Also, exclusively on the Big 13 site is a story from Captain Mac's son, Bob McCarty. And so he wrote a story for us talking about what it was like to grow up with Captain Mac. One of the great stories is how when he learned to swim, Captain Mac had him swim from the $1 Million Pier, where the WSUN studios are, to Spa Beach.
Oh.
And I thought that was pretty
How far
charming.
is that?
Not very far. You
Okay.
could do it.
Okay.
Are you a good swimmer?
Pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good. And I'm a good floater, too.
And Mr. Eric, if you could put up number 7 in there, I'd like to talk to the viewers just very briefly about, oh, did I say number 7? I am sorry, number 5. That's my fault, folks. There's a graphic with 3 images on there of Captain Mac.
Yeah, it's
Very
probably
clear.
just the next image.
Yeah,
that's
try
a,
the
that's
next
a great,
one.
there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Now, if you'll look over in the extreme right-hand corner, you'll see two TV guide ads for Captain Mac. One is for Channel 38, one is for Channel 13. And that is because Burl McCarty, who played Captain Mac and originated the character at WSUN, was so popular by 1955 when Channel 13 went on the air that they lured him away to come over and be on Channel 13.
They stole them.
So Channel 38 didn't appreciate that.
I think not.
And so they said, well, rather than create another character, we're going to still do, because we still kind of own the name of Captain Mac, we're going to hire somebody else to play Captain Mac here at WSUN while he's over at Channel 13. So they hired a staff announcer by the name of Fred Davey, and Fred played Captain Mac, while over at Channel 13, the original Burl McCarty played Captain Mac at Channel 13. So that's why in that ad, there are two Captain Macs on the air at the same time.
Interesting. Yep.
Now for the Channel 13 version, yeah, if you could put that ad back up, I'd like to talk about that. At the Channel 13 version, they made Captain Mac, Burl McCarty, wear an Australian hat. You can see it over
like
in
a
the
pin
far
helmet,
right.
Yeah. Oh, the Australia, yeah, the Aussie hat. There you go.
Whereas in the original
Yes,
WSUN, you notice, yeah, he had the regular pith helmet. So that's how they kind of got around some of the legalities.
That was the distinction.
Different
Yes,
look.
and also you can see the old WSUN Mr. Sun logo there in the middle, which we
I remember
love.
that.
Classic.
Yeah. So anyway, so after a few months, Captain Mac, Burl McCarty, got a little tired of driving across the bay to Tampa to do the show, and he said, I think I'm going to go back to Channel 38. And Fred Davey, who had been playing the character while he was gone, was glad not to have to do that anymore, went back to his regular announcing duties, and Burl McCarty played Captain Mac till he retired from that station in 1959.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
That's an
Great
amazing
story.
That's and you know what? Early TV again.
Yeah,
early
early
TV.
Yep.
Great TV.
Let's take a quick call. We should go to channel line 5. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, it's Keitha Abini from Seminole.
Hi, Keitha from
Keitha.
Seminole. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
Good.
We're doing great. Mike Clark is spinning his tails again tonight. He's doing wonderful storytelling all about Big 13. Do you have a question or a comment for Mike?
Well, I have a comment. Yes, Joseph was interviewed by Andy Hardy when HHS in '67 was going to the state championship.
Nice. Was that black and white or color? By '67, it was probably color. Yeah.
Right, right.
Well, that's
cool.
wonderful.
I didn't
And
know
you
that.
tell Joe that we need to see him this Saturday, and you come out as well if you're feeling up to it. West Tampa, flavor of West Tampa, because we want to give you a big hug. We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, we'll be out.
Oh,
All right,
great.
wonderful. Give
We'll
us
see
your
you.
lucky bolito winning numbers.
I think we already have
We have
them.
them. They sent
We
an
have
email.
them.
And Joseph's is 3.
Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
I have a girlfriend, Lynn, Lin Brown. That's number 17. I've got her watching your show now.
Oh, Lynn Brown, tonight's
Lynn
number
Brown,
17.
17.
Hey, listen,
There we go.
Listen, don't. Thank you so much, Keitha. We appreciate it. We'll see you Saturday.
Okay.
Bye, honey.
Keitha.
Don't ever underestimate the power and the creativity of
our
a Tampa
fans.
native show fan. Because if they can piggyback in and give you 4 bolita numbers, and then there's my grandmother, and she's in. I love you guys. That's wonderful. Listen, we want to give this stuff away, so give us those numbers. Keep those numbers coming. Look at the phone lines. Just lighting
We
up.
got videos.
Let's go
Yeah.
to the next video.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, we did talk about Andy Hardy in the last show, and you can see these shows are in the archive of the Tampa Bay Native Show. Correct, Mundo, Steve?
Tampa native show.
Tampa-
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
He had to
I
keep
know, I
educating
know.
me last time about the Tampa Bay.
And since you've been here last, I don't know that you may or may not know this, but Steve and I have been working with, and of course Sally, the 15, we've been working together with the University of South Florida.
Oh.
They've kind of
Relationship.
Yeah, it's a relationship. I'm uncomfortable using the phrase relationship. I like partnership. I already have a relationship. And a partnership as well. This is a partnership whereby they're going to host our shows on their server and
Nice.
kind of keep them into perpetuity so that forevermore, you know,
their special collections
our show
at
will
the
live
library.
on in their special collections. So
Right.
USF Libraries
Yeah.
has stepped up to help us out in that regard.
That's
Pretty
wonderful.
good.
They have a wonderful digital archive over
That's-
there.
that's where it's going.
Classic
Yes.
Tampa shots.
Yep.
But we're moving on
Let's
to
go.
Shock Theater next.
Shock
Here we go. Shock
Okay,
Theater.
last time we did not talk enough about Paul Reynolds.
No.
Again, we mentioned he was originally a staff announcer,
Mm-hmm.
booth announcer. He also did commercials,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the original host of the Valencia Gardens commercials with our beloved Manuel Biro.
Salute and happy days.
And so that's Paul right there in the middle. And of course, you can see on the left his most famous character, which was Shock Armstrong.
Start the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and the reason he was hired, or just he wasn't hired because he was already there at the station. They told him he was going to play Shock, was he had already played Bozo the Clown there on the right. That's Paul Reynolds too. There was nothing that you could throw at this guy that he couldn't do. And
Good looking guy too, without his makeup.
Yeah,
handsome.
Yeah, and so he took over that Shock character, and originally Shock didn't speak in the first few weeks, and then they figured, well, you know, we better let him speak, and once he spoke, that's when the show took off and it became the tremendous success. And a lot of people remember Channel 13. They think Channel 13 and Shock, you know, right at the same time.
They go hand in hand.
And he was only there for a few years. There's some more pictures of him.
Well, he was there from 55 to 68, which is a pretty good run.
That's a good run, but he didn't do Shock for that long.
No,
Is that correct?
Shock started in 1964.
Yes, right.
And he left the station in 1968, and Shock Theater continued with that plastic head we had.
Yes, so we did.
But the plastic head didn't quite do the job that Paul did.
Not the same.
And in this clip, we're going to learn how Paul was hired for the job.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Caller, stand by. We'll come to you next.
You know what, Bob Olson called me in to announce that I was going to host Shock Theater as Shock Armstrong. He wasn't too much help. He simply handed me an old Tampa U football uniform with a 13 on it and a mask and said, "Paul, you're a teenaged ghoul." Well, from that came Shock's personality, which was simply an exaggeration of many of my personal frustrations. For instance, a mother who always wanted the room cleaned, a nosy neighbor next door who thought he could meddle in my affairs, and a general mistrust of all authority figures. I guess I was as surprised as anyone that the character caught on as well as it did. But looking back at what happened later in the 60s, it seems to me that Shock was probably just a forerunner of a movement among the young that was to make history.
The Cool Ghoul was so popular that when the station tried to replace him with the Joey Bishop Show back in 1967, the viewers rebelled. And they got their way. Shock was back with his spooky movies a few weeks later. And we'll bet there are some folks still watching with Shock's very own autograph still stashed away somewhere. Well, a reasonable facsimile of his autograph anyhow.
And that little tribute that you just saw was put together by Jim Benedict for the 1980 Channel 13 anniversary show. And Jim is watching us tonight from North Carolina.
Hey,
Great.
Jim.
Hello, Jim.
North Carolina.
Nice to have you
North
with
Carolina's
us.
in the house. Hey, there's a bell rung for Jim.
Jim was my boss, and he had 42 years at Big 13.
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
42 years. What a run.
Yeah. Now, just to wrap up, Paul, I'm going to ask Eric to put up a title for me and mention that his biography is on Big 13. But if you want to really see a cool website, there's a local former Tampa filmmaker. His name is Fred Olin Ray, and he has a dedicated website to Shock Armstrong too. And you can see it here if I'll move out of the way here. It's shockarmstrong.info, www. I recommend you visit it. He has a longer telephone interview with Paul Reynolds.
Oh, that'd be cool. Great.
Okay, and now we're moving on to Mary Ellen.
All right, Mary Ellen.
Okay, Mary Ellen. Last time we talked about the adventures that she shot on film on 16 millimeter, but we ran out of time to show it. So we wanted to show a 2-minute version, a little cut down of a thing I call Mary Ellen and the Pirate. The pirate was played by a Channel 13 director, Mickey Fisher, who also narrates here now, but you can hear the film running in the background as Mickey narrates, and it gets a little jumpy at places. But I think you'll find this very entertaining. Let's
And
go
again,
with
when was the last time we saw Mary Ellen in motion picture?
That's true.
It's been a while.
Roll that video.
About 1961 or 62. Mary Ellen was a cartoonist and led a kids show. These children have won a contest to come and go on one of the adventures with her. These were silent films, and Mary Ellen would narrate them and tell what was going on. She would, this place, tell about who Jose Marti was, who was the Cuban revolutionary who brought all these people to Tampa. This is down to dock at Tampa Harbor. The pirate has discovered the magic lamp and is trying to figure out how to make it work. He's talking to himself. Setting Island back there in the background, I guess. No, that's the hospital. Yeah. God, I can't remember. Is that the hospital? Yeah, that's Tampa General. Gotta be some way to make this fool thing work. Rub your nose, scratch your head, pull your ear. While we were down in Ybor City, we went to the Columbia restaurant. Joe Wizicki and I would go out and do it. Joe did a lot of the filming himself. His son Larry was part of it. And I was the pirate and the Indian and the old man. the bad guy. Finally ran across the pirate. Look. Looking for something to eat. Yeah, this is Channel 13, it looks like. Here comes the mean old pirate. Antenna system. Through that door is where the studio is where Mary Ellen is talking, and she's getting ready to scream and holler because he's getting ready to come in the door.
Okay, here we go. And what happened there is Mickey, the pirate, opened the door to the studio, and then they would pick up the action live. And Mary Ellen would be there with the kids, and she'd probably say, "Oh, don't hurt us," or something. Or knowing her, she'd probably charm him into giving it up.
Or sick or bird on him, one or the other.
Oh, poop deck. And there's Mary Ellen. We're looking at her. The middle shot is from 2004 when I visited her at her home in Hawaii. The left shot, which I think she's dressed kind of nice and kind of an evening thing, is from 1964, the last year she was on the air. And of course, you can see the complete Mary Ellen story, what happened before, during, and after she was on Channel 13 on the Big 13 site.
Fascinating.
That's amazing. We all remember Mary Ellen. Let's
Sure
take
do.
the caller on 4. Caller, thank you so much for holding. We appreciate your patience. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Bruce from South Tampa.
Hi, Bruce
Hi,
from South
Bruce.
Tampa.
Good to hear
How
from you.
are you? Do you have a question or a comment for Mr. Mike Clark, who is, by the way, the authority on all things Big 13?
Well, I have a Andy Hardy story.
Okay.
I believe I sent you the article from the story last year. It was when, right after the 72 Olympics, when Mark Spitz won 7 gold medals, he was traveling around to all the Moss brothers in the area doing a photograph session, an autograph session, and he was supposed to go to Moss Brothers, and Andy Hardy was the MC. And there was lots and tons of people there because it was right after the Olympics. And I showed up. Mark Spitz was running 25 minutes late. Andy Hardy grabbed me, took me to the microphone, and interviewed me for about 20 minutes.
What an occasion.
You were pretending to be Mark Spitz.
Yes, you were the faux Mark Spitz.
And I sent you the article. It was on
Yeah, no, we got it. It was tremendous. And
the next morning.
That's funny.
And what an honor. The only thing I think we asked you this the last time you shared the story with us is, did you have to get down to your Speedo? We just want to know.
No.
Okay, very good, very good.
It was the same height because I had my big platforms on.
Platforms and that terrific mustache. We remember, man. We've seen the pictures. Give us your lucky Bolita number, Bruce.
54.
54 it is. Thank
All
you,
right.
my brother. Thanks so much for sharing that story.
See you guys later.
Thank
Bye-bye
you.
now.
Bye-bye. All right, let's go to line 5 real quick. Caller, we see you there. We're so glad you waited. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Salty Saul Fleischman Jr., Tampa.
Oh, wow. What a tremendous honor this
Well,
is.
hello.
Well, hello, Mr. Fleischman. How are you?
Good. Enjoying the show.
Oh, thank you so
Great.
much. Did somebody tip you off that we were going to be covering Big 13 tonight, or did you happen upon the show? By
Hey,
chance?
I got an email about it.
Oh, that's great.
that's great.
Well,
We all loved your dad.
yeah, your
We sure
dad
did.
was. We all grew up with him,
Yes, we
and,
did.
and he was a big part of our lives for
Part of
sure.
our family.
Tell us a great Salty Saul story.
Well, I've got so many of them, but having Mike Clark on there is really a treasure. I love the website. I visit it often. And, I mean, it's great that you have Dad's picture in front of the Salty Saul's best bet at the start of your show. And
Every week,
Yes.
every
Yep.
week we remember your dads. Absolutely.
You know what? I understand why he would have. There's so many hundreds of stories, but I think the general thing I know about Saul is that he had such a good heart, and he treated everyone equally. Whether you were a lowly member on the crew or the general manager of the station, he saw everybody just as another person, and he was totally open to you and generous. He was a very generous man.
Well, he was bigger than life, and he was nice to everybody. And he broke a lot of barriers. He had some of the black coaches on TV before anybody else would, and he was just friends with everybody.
And he was one of the first to hire a female sportscaster, Sherry Taylor.
I remember Sherry
Yes.
very well. I remember when Andy Hardy came to dinner at our house. He was 18 years old.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow. What
That's a
a
good
great
memory.
But you know what? When he was 40, he looked 18.
Yeah, that's true
That's
too.
true.
You look like
That's
true too.
Of course, I have great memories of Paul Reynolds because he was Dad's assistant for many years.
That's right, because Paul did the sports on weekends, I believe.
That's right.
Do you go by Saul as well?
Yeah, Saul Jr., Salty Jr.
Well, Salty Jr., I don't want to put you on the spot on live TV, but I've been known to do that in the past, and I just want to extend the invitation to you lovingly, man. If you would like to spend some time with us here, sharing some more of these stories, and we'll dedicate a show entirely to your dad's memory, we would love to have you as a guest on our show.
Yeah.
It'd be my pleasure. I'd
That'd be
love to
awesome.
do it. Thanks.
Great. Send us an email, or if Mike knows how we can reach out to you, we'll be sure and give you a call, and we'll set something up down the road.
Right, and I have a bunch of albums Dad left me that has a lot of Channel 13 memorabilia in it.
Great.
Oh, that's
Okay,
great. So
well,
stuff we haven't seen maybe in a long, long time.
Yeah, don't hold back on me, Saul.
It's a great one because I used to have it on my notebook at Plant High School, but it's one of those plastic stickers that had Dad with a glass of Budweiser.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Do you remember Saul riding with the Clydesdales?
Of course,
At the
back in the
opening of
wagon,
the show, they would play that da 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 da. And there's Saul riding with the Clydesdales, the team, and it was fantastic.
Did you get a chance to ride with him as well, Saul?
Nobody ever invited me on
Oh, well,
that one.
Well, that's too bad.
that's an opportunity lost.
That'd be a great show. I'd watch that show.
No, we're definitely going to have you on.
Yes,
I think that,
absolutely.
You know, if you've
There'd
just
be many viewers for that show.
if you've just turned onto our show tonight because it's a special night because Mike's here, you know, we do this little show every week, and just about once a month when we have a special show, we have these moments where people will call us and we're not expecting them. A direct link to our past, and it's the special stuff that happens to us here on the Tampa Native Show. Tonight, no exception. We're really privileged to have you call us, man. We appreciate it.
I love your show, and I've visited your website many times, and I'd be happy to be on it and
That'd be
share a
great.
bunch of stories with you.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you.
that's for you, Saul. And
You
we
made
look
our night
You made our
tonight.
night. Give us your lucky Bolita number, 1 to 75.
13, of course.
Oh, well
waiting
done.
for
Well
somebody to
played,
take
sir.
that.
Well played. Thank you, Saul, for calling, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Okay, you're welcome. Good night.
Take care.
You know,
Good night.
Saul spoke.
cool.
One of the things
Wonderful.
I forgot to mention in the last show is that Saul had the terrific sports team. He was great. He was smart enough to hire Andy Hardy.
Yes.
He also had Pete Johnson, who was watching us last time, and I
Yes.
believe is watching us this time
Hi,
too.
Pete.
And I forgot to mention John Brill and Ann Carlin last time, who were also strong members of that sports team starting in the 70s. And they all got to work with Saul.
Man, it was
Very
on default
fortunate.
channel. I mean,
Not
you know,
yet.
we had
Yeah, that was
the channel went to 8 and 10, but nobody ever watched those stations. It was 13. Not the
13.
fact that it was a short bike ride from my house, and you could almost see the antenna from my house.
Yeah.
But still, we grew up with all those guys.
Yeah.
So they were in our house every night. you know?
And now we're going to move down the street to WFLA.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Now
We're
the
at
last
15-minute
time.
mark too.
Oh my goodness, 15 minutes to
Okay,
go.
we're going to make it this time.
Okay, all right. Take a big breath, Monty. We're
On
going to get there.
on the last show, on the last Tampa Native show that I was on back in May, we had a live call-in from Uncle Bruce.
Yes, we
Yes.
did.
From WFLA, and we talked about his wonderful adventure films, but we didn't get a chance to show a clip from it. So we've taken one of his longer ones, they run about half an hour, and cut it down to just 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's called Monster of the Amazon, and it shows wonderful Tampa locations, like Tampa International Airport,
Sure.
which probably wasn't international at the time,
No.
was it?
No,
It
I
wasn't.
would think
This is
not.
1963 or 4.
Yeah.
So it shows Tampa Airport, and it also shows what you can do by just shooting in this area and the wonderful effects you can get. So let's take a look at Monster of the Amazon.
Starring Uncle Bruce.
That's scary.
The Monster of the Amazon. Chapter 1, Flight to Adventure. Mike, Barney, and I were beginning an amazing journey that was to carry us to high adventure in the faraway jungles of Brazil. We were all plenty excited as we prepared to board the sleek jetliner at Tampa International Airport.
Boy, oh boy, I can hardly believe it, Uncle Bruce.
In a few moments, we would be on our way to attempt the capture of a giant lizard deep in the Amazon jungles. As we rose smoothly into the sky and said goodbye to Tampa, our thoughts turned once more to the thrilling assignment given us by Professor Frisbee. A jeep and a driver were waiting to take us on the first leg of our journey toward the meeting at the Oipaki River.
Whoops! Hey, wait for me!
Come on, Barn. Yeah, I'm glad you made it, Barn.
Soon we were pulling away from the Oipaki landing, and with Captain John piloting our craft, we watched the many jungle scenes.
Hey, look at the crocodiles along the bank there.
Yee, not a very good place to go swimming, is it, Uncle Bruce?
If only we could have known what was waiting in the trees just ahead. We were all tense and alert, but still failed to see the danger.
Look out, Uncle Bruce!
John's warning came too late. A writhing mass of sinuous coils fell over my head, knocking me off my feet and into the stream.
Help! Save him! Save Uncle Bruce! Help!
Then more trouble began to stir. Vicious crocodiles had heard the struggle and were coming to investigate.
Crocodiles! Crocodiles!
I had only one chance to escape the death grip of the big snake and the crocodiles that were closing in. I had to force the snake's head away from me so that John could get a clear shot at it. Trying to forget all else, I put all my strength into this one move and succeeded.
You got him!
Hey, look over there!
A huge creature was moving swiftly through the brush. There he was, the monster lizard of the Amazon. The excitement must have attracted him, and now we were looking at him for the first time. If our plan worked, the drug would put the monster to sleep in a matter of seconds. If it failed, or if I missed the right spot, he would attack and kill us with lightning speed. Now! Got him! We got him, John!
You got him, Uncle Bruce, for sure.
Our mission was accomplished. We had captured the monster of the Amazon. In a matter of hours, we were landing safely once more at Tampa International Airport. And never could we forget our great adventure with the monster of the Amazon.
Okay, so just a quick comment about that film. Bruce shot the monster with a dart gun, by the way. So he wasn't killed or anything. And by the way, that was a little iguana or something. So
No
it was all
animals were
pretend.
harmed.
The animal was not harmed in any way.
Oh, good.
And back to us.
Well, we've got a caller on line 5. We're going to go to our caller. The show is rapidly, and I mean rapidly, coming to
So
a
true.
close, which breaks my heart because we probably should have gone for another 90 minutes. Mike Clark is just, he's one of those guests that you got to give him the room, man. So let's go to line 5 and see who's on line 5. Caller, thank you so much for your patience. You're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, hi, Mario. This is Ray Blush, former Channel 13er.
Oh, hi, Ray Blush. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. Thank you for the invitation to call.
Oh, no, thank you for calling.
I don't want to take up a lot of your time because I know you have a lot to give, but I must tell you, thank you so much for what you are doing for the history of Channel 13.
Wow.
But Mike Clark, he deserves 100% of the credit for putting together and maintaining the history of our station, and not only our station, television in the Tampa Bay area.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I wanted to also thank him publicly. He is the one who created the Big 13 website. He is the one who maintains every piece of it. He is the one who put together the 50th anniversary birthday party. And I'll tell you, the station, its current and former employees owe him a great debt of gratitude. And Mike, we do thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so much,
As,
Mike.
as do the humble host of the Tampa Native Show,
Absolutely.
because every time he graces our studios, man, the phone lines light up, Ray. We you know,
Nonstop.
we chewed through another 60 minutes here, and it's gone. It's just evaporated in front of us. But we're so pleased that you called us tonight, and I would extend the invitation to you as well, Ray. If you'd like to ever come on our show and talk about those wonderful early years and all those years at Big 13, share some
great.
of your anecdotal
would be
stories
great.
with us, we would be really privileged to have you come on. So
I appreciate that, Mario, and thank you very much.
thank you for all those great years you gave us, man. It was
Definitely.
wonderful.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks
Hey,
for your call.
thanks for your call, and give us your lucky Bolita number, man, because you might win
Might
something here
win.
too.
Well, Saul beat me out of it. You know, I was going with 13, but I'll take 7.
Okay.
Oh, wait, 7's already
seven's
taken.
already
May I
taken.
suggest you
Yeah.
turn 13 around and go with 31?
I'll do that.
Okay,
Very well.
great.
Yeah.
Good suggestion.
Thank you, Ray
Thank
Blush.
you.
Thank you, the
Thanks,
great
Ray.
Ray Blush. Thank you so much, Ray.
That's awesome.
It's you know what? Sometimes here on the Tampa Native Show, these things just happen.
like
It
magic.
just happen.
And I understand that Roy did call in, but the lines were tied up. So again,
Oh, the great Roy
Another-
Leap. We had the chance to talk to Roy.
Yeah, but
Roy,
happy
if you're out
birthday.
there and you're watching, and I'm hoping that you are, don't think for a minute that we wouldn't want to have you on this show as well. So the invitation's gone out tonight to Saul Fleischman Jr., to Ray Blush, and the great Roy Leap. If you're out there and you want to come on and do our show with us, if you're close by, I know you're in the area, we'd love to have you do the show with us as well.
Love it.
Please do.
Yep, and look at all the meteorological phenomenon that's happening
Yeah.
all across the nation that we can talk about.
we need Roy more than ever now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We really
I'd like
do.
to subscribe to his little blog site or his website, because wouldn't it be great to still be getting
Yeah.
your
That would be
updates
cool.
and your weather reports from Roy Leap? How much time do we have left? We don't want to leave our Bolita drawing out. 2.5 minutes. Why don't you go ahead and grab the bag there, Steve?
You know what? By coincidence, I happen to have it
Oh,
right here.
There you go.
Here, looky, looky.
We'll let our guest of honor.
Yeah, I'll do it right this time. Last time
Okay.
I,
We'll get
I
ours.
screwed
Yep,
it up.
We'll do our, and a real quick shout out, because you know, we have every now and again those serendipitous moments where our Tampa natives are out in the field and all of a sudden they bump into other Tampa natives and they get to talking. I just wanted to say hello to Mr. George Castro. Hi, George. We see you out there in TV land, who was watching us tonight, probably for the first time. He ran into Hello Dory here recently, and through a conversation they discovered that, hey, yeah, I know that Mario Nunez guy. George, how are you?
You know, this is quite a coincidence, this number, because it's my sister's birthday, and this is the number she reached today. If you're watching, I hope you don't get mad at me, but it's 65.
I'll be darned. Happy birthday.
Mercy.
Today is her birthday, and she's 65.
Closest-
Oh,
Happy
wow.
birthday, and it's Big Mike Padrina with number 63.
Closest to.
Wow,
That's
Big
great.
Mike
You
Padrina,
wanna
it's our
get
big
Big Mike?
pumpkin. He's
Congrats.
our Orlando correspondent. Mike is always watching the show. He typically calls in. That is pretty good stuff. So Mike, you got to make the drive, my man.
That's right.
Because you got to be present to win. So make that drive. You owe us a hug anyway. Get in that car. Orlando's only 90 minutes away. We'll see you at McFarland Park, right down the street from your Theo's house, Saturday from 11 to 3.
It'll be worth the drive.
A big bag of goodies to give away to you. Where did the time go? Because Tom from New York, who's called us each and every week, was unable to get in this week. But you know what?
Sorry, Tom.
I would much rather leave you guys, our wonderful fans, wanting a little bit more, because that way we know when Mike Clark comes back to town from LA,
Right.
we'll put him right into the seat. We got 30 seconds.
Where did he go?
Can I extend my hand and say
well,
thank you, big
And
guy?
again, I want to thank for promoting my website, which you see here, big13.com.
Sure.
And of course, we thank WTVT and WFLA for allowing us to show these wonderful
Yes.
clips of their
Yes,
history.
thank
That's
you.
right.
And next time I come, I'll see what else I can dig out, and we'll have
Great.
some more fun.
We'll have a big party together. So on behalf of Hello Dory, Eric Cups, the gentleman you can't see who's been prompting us just off camera, that's one Jim Hooper, of course, Mike Clark, Tampa Steve, look at me, the 15-minute girl. I'm Mario Nunez saying, let's do it together, guys.
Ready?
Salud and
Salud.
happy,
Happy
days.
days.
We
Happy
love
days.
you, Tampa.
Yes, we do.
Next week.
Back when we were younger, cause everything seemed new. We used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleepy days, long summer nights, going anywhere we please, with love that I could call my own, love that I've always known, the city that I call my home, a home from which I never roam. This love affair was meant to be. I love her and she loves me. I remember Tampa, oh, she remembers me. She remembers me. I remember, yeah, yes I do. Oh, oh, I remember, yeah, me and you. I'm a Tampa native, Tampa native, can't you see? I will share my story with you to preserve its history.
All right now, don't forget, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on TBCN. home of the Tampa Native Show.